This is Notepad. I'm your host, Ibrahim Sani. We're going to do things a little bit different for these next few episodes. We are now taping this interview from the iconic skyscraper in downtown Kuala Lumpur in Permata Sapura. Behind me, as you can see, is the iconic KLCC Twin Towers. KLCC, of course, is part of the joint owner of this building together with Sapura. Permata Sapura is a beautifully designed building inspired by the majestic lines of Mount Kinabalu. And of course, Permata Sapura is going to be open for business, open for lease, so do check it out. This building has been awarded the Best Commercial Unit in Kuala Lumpur by CIDBQ LASIK Achievement Award. And we are very privileged to have had the opportunity to be the first broadcaster to have a recording in this iconic building. Now let's move on to the interview we have for this show, Pantas. Pantas is a FinTech startup company started by 3 Malaysian returnees from New York City with a combined 40 years experience between them. They provide SMEs with a free software to do their invoicing, their billing, and trying to ease their payment processes. A back office item that constantly plagues a lot of SMEs. So this solution is actually quite useful for us to explore. Of course, Pantas is backed by a host of investors such as Ant Financial, Bill.com, Shopee Southeast Asia Limited, PayPal, and Zoom. And they have raised over 6 million ringgit during their seed funding round. And since their launch on 31st of March this year, they have gained over 300 plus users. So joining us for this episode is one of the co-founder and of course the CEO of Pantas.com, Max Lee. Hi, how are you, Max?
Good.
Now, let's talk about Pantas per se. First of all, there's a lot of room to grow in this space, but at the same time, there's a few players already that is in this space. How do you differentiate yourself with your competitors, and how do you intend to stay ahead in the game?
Okay, so firstly, Pantas is first of its kind. There's no other company that offer billing, invoicing, and payment software with financing features for free. We differentiate ourselves by providing an innovative, customized, and localized solution to support business here in Southeast Asia. And we are constantly listening to our user and launching features and solutions every 2 weeks so that we can cater to their need. And in the works is a very innovative financing solution that will be the first in Asia, if not the world. We plan to launch that by end of the year, so stay tuned on that. Unfortunately, I can't give up too much on that because it's still in development, but it will be very, very useful for SME.
All right, let's talk about the areas that you guys are operating in. Right now, Pantas is of course based in Malaysia. What would be some of the plans in terms of regionalizing or internationalizing your business?
So we are looking into, currently we're working with a few partners. We are looking into expanding to Indonesia and Thailand in the near future after we gain a foothold in Malaysia. We do have investor from Thailand and investor with connection to in Indonesia as well. And that discussion has, we have started that discussion as well.
All right, let's talk a bit about your investors because as mentioned earlier, you've raised 6 million ringgit in seed funding. And of course, there's a lot of financial companies that are supporting you, including Ant Financial, Bill.com, Shopee, and of course, PayPal and Zoom. These are renowned investors and they are big in the realm of commercialization through digitization of businesses. What would be some of the appeal that Pantas has when it comes to attracting such kind of investors?
So I want to correct you on that. So our investor are mainly VC, private equity, and hedge fund investors. They have previously backed companies such as Ant Financial, Bill.com, Shopee, PayPal, and Zoom. So it's not like this company directly invests in us, it's we share the same investor. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, our investor, again, more than 80% of our funding come from this overseas investor. And the reason they invest in us, two things. One is they believe in the team. Two is we are creating a software that is unique in the sense that there's no software that provide free billing, invoicing, and payment process, and we are combining it with financing features. So that's something new, and it's different from, because in US and Europe you have a lot of paid SaaS software that helps company manage their financial workflow. But in Asia, especially in Southeast Asia, we realize that the willingness to pay is very low for software subscription. That's why we are offering the software feature for free, and then we are monetizing it through the financing features. So it's a different way of solving similar issues, and we do believe that our solution is better and better in the sense that it's better suited for the local market.
Okay, let's, if you don't mind, let's deep dive on that model right now. Providing the software is for free, you're monetizing it through the financing bit. Could you explain a little bit more in case some SME owners are watching this and they want to learn more about the company?
Okay, so as you mentioned previously, it's actually a very troublesome process to deal with billing, invoicing, and payment. Well, firstly, sometimes the invoice you send to your customer get lost in the process, or sometime for whatever reason your customer forget about the invoices, they forget to pay you. So the whole billing, invoicing, and payment process is very archaic, and it's still being done through a lot of time through paper, and the most advanced is through email or WhatsApp, but it's still a very, how do I put it, haphazard process, a lot of manual process involved, because after you receive the invoice, you have to get your staff or even yourself have to transfer the information on your invoice to your accounting software, etc. So what Pantas do here is we essentially automate the whole process for you for free. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, as you use our software, we learn about your billing and invoicing process and your payment history. From that data, we are able to access your credit worthiness. And using that data, we're working with our partner banks and institutional investors to provide financing for you. And it's not just financing for you, but we are also working on financing products that will finance your buyers as well.
This is huge, because when you say you will be able to assess credit worthiness of the particular company, you know exactly how they will earn because you are handling their invoices per se. You know exactly their payment delays or their receivable length of time. These are clinical features that might help your clients move forward. However, there could be some resistance in the sense that, they can easily go to a bank and try to see if they can source for fund that way. How do you intend to achieve a little bit of an edge over the traditional way of companies trying to secure financing through traditional means?
Banks are not our competitor. We are working with the banks. We are trying to help. We are a platform. We are trying to help the businesses get financing. So we are working with the bank actually to help you get financing.
What banks are already in collaboration with you guys?
We're currently talking with a few banks. That's why I said the financing product will be launched at the end of the year.
Okay, then there is this element of brick-to-mortar companies that might have some form of resistance adopting their business through digital means. This, I guess, problem is somewhat being tackled because of the pandemic. It has forced brick-and-mortar SMEs to try to adopt their businesses in an online world, in a digital world. Do you foresee this to be a big challenge for your prospecting customers?
Yes, it is currently our biggest challenge. The biggest challenge for us now is to overcome, like you said, the resistance to change. It can be very difficult to introduce a new solution to businesses because most businesses are used to the existing method. It takes time to convince them to digitize or automate their currently manual workflow, because a lot of time they're like, why are you doing this? Like our current solution works okay, or so to solve this, we
if
are
it's
working
not
with
quite change it, right? That's the whole idea.
yeah. So to solve this, we are working with the government agency, financial institution, and other relevant partners to showcase the benefit of using Pantas.
So,
we are holding webinars and demo to show them how easy it is to use Pantas. You can use it. You do not have to install any software. It's all on the cloud. It's online. Firstly. Secondly is it works with your existing accounting software if you have one. If you do not have one, it still works. And that's the beauty of it. And like I said, currently we managed to sign up. Since we launched, it's already 100 days exactly. Yep. And we signed up as of this morning, 372 users. And hopefully we'll sign up more.
All right, we'll go for one short break before we continue our conversation with Pantas.com. Welcome back. I have with me Max Lim, CEO and co-founder of Pantas, a FinTech solution company that helps SME with their invoicing, with their billing, and with their payments. Max, let's talk a little bit about the landscape right now. And this is a topic that is very difficult to have a conversation about. The SME Association has estimated about 400,000 SMEs might have to close their business following the pandemic. This is on top of the 1.2 million SMEs currently operating in the country. Most of them are more small. In fact, some of them are even micro. In a very challenging business environment, how do you foresee the SME sector, which actually employs 90% of our workers in this country, which actually generates more than half of our GDP when it comes to corporate earnings? Do you think that this is going to be a big issue to tackle when it comes to the recovery of COVID?
Yeah, so part of the reason we came back to Malaysia is because we realized that the SME here face much bigger challenge than the SME in US, because here they do get less support, either from capital support or support from software side as well. So however, we do think that as the economy open up, the fittest one will survive. And then what we're trying to do is to provide them the tool so that they can go through the difficult period. And like I said, we are not just helping them to cut costs, because by using Pantas, they're able to handle more work with their existing workforce because of automation. And secondly, we are trying to provide them with financing. And as we all know, that getting financing is very, very challenging right now due to COVID. And as business recover, they will need the financing and the cash buffer to rebuild their business. That's why we are working very hard to try to launch the financing product by year end. We really do believe that that will be the game changer for the local SME. And as we mentioned earlier, how do we overcome the resistance to change? And one of the ways we are telling them that, hey, like by using this automation features, you are able to get financing more easily. And that actually speaks to a lot of SME. They're like, wow, okay.
I know you can't share much, but please try your best to share as much as you can when it comes to the financing feature. At least some ballpark idea of what we can expect, what type of financing, what is it, a bridging loan, is it a capital growth loan, or the kind of rates or the range of rates, some color into the possible items that you're going to be launching at the end of the year.
So a few things. So you can expect the supply chain financing and factoring product that's coming. And then there's this new way to expand, to lengthen your, how to put it? We have a new product that will allow you to better manage your cash flow by giving you extra 2 months of cash flow. Think of it like a credit line, short-term credit line. So that's something that we are in the works as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't share much, but The way it works is we are designing this product ground up. Like it's not like we are using existing financing product. This is specifically designed for small businesses. It's
so
a
that
new
means
product.
you
Will be first one in Asia.
hand in hand with the banks in building the product, right? You can't just build and then sell it to the banks in a way.
Yes. And I think don't underestimate banks. They are interested in helping the local SME as well. And a lot of them are actually very open to work with FinTech startup. And we're not just working with the FinTech startup, we also are partnering with one of the world's largest FinTech company to launch this product. So we are very excited because once it's launched, we can claim that it's the first in Asia, if not the world, one of its kind financing product. Unfortunately, I can't give you too much color yet because it's still work in progress.
Circling back to the industry, you were mentioning that there's over 370 clients that have signed on. What would be some of the industries that they're in? Is there a particular industry that is a little bit more receptive to signing up with you and a little bit more other industries that are a little bit more hesitant to sign up with your services?
Okay, so out of the 372 users right now, 48% of them are in mostly service industry, and service, I mean consulting, legal, healthcare, IT, so creative. So those are currently our user, but the idea is we do hope to get more user as well in other industry. But they are currently on the smaller size of the SME scale.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. You got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Max, one more short break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Pantas. Welcome back. We are recording, or we're taping this interview from Permata Sapura here in downtown KL. We have with us on the line Max Lee, CEO and co-founder of Pantas. Max, when we talk about the kind of funding that you guys need, I would assume, I don't know how it is for your company, but I would assume you would need a lot of capital to grow the company at rapid speed. 6 million ringgit raised through seed is very promising. It's actually quite good, but at the same time, what would be some of the fundraising plans that you have in store for us so that we can actually track the growth of Pantas?
Currently, our 6 million, we have enough capital to run for the next 12 months, and we actually have rejected capital from other investors as well. Because we are not just seeking capital provider, we are seeking partner as well. So all the investors we have currently, they are also our advisor, and that's what we are. That's why we are glad to have them, and we are not too concerned about getting new investors. If we are able to grow our business and launch the product that I mentioned, I'm sure we're able to get the capital we need. Like I mentioned, we have been rejecting investor requests as well.
Okay. The last bit of the interview, I just want to learn a little bit more about the founders. You guys were from the United States, in fact, from New York City, and you've tried to build a life there, but at the same time, you have returned. What would be some of the motivation of the three of you returning and building this company from the ground up?
I think, well, firstly, my co-founder, Shaida and Yongtat, three of us have been friends for more than 10 years. I mean, we are all Malaysian. We were lucky. We managed to study in the States. And we all have very successful career in New York City. But I personally started a startup, a data analytics startup, and in 2017, the startup was acquired by Bain in December 2019. So,
congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So after the acquisition by Bain, I stayed on to run the business for Bain for about a year before quitting to start Pantas. And post the acquisition, I started to think about what else can I do? And that's where the idea of Pantas came about, because I am trying to solve the issue that I faced when I was running my previous startup. Basically, the annoying and troublesome and manual billing, invoicing, and payment process, and also the inability to get financing when you are a startup or a small SME, even in US. So after Pixis was sold, I started working on this idea, and then I talked to Sheda and Yongtat about it, and they were like, Max, if you were to study in US, yes, you have all the connection here. You know, we are able to be successful, but why don't we think about doing it in Southeast Asia, especially Malaysia? And we do some research. We realized that this issue are even more widespread in Malaysia, and Malaysia is home. I mean, I always want to come back. We all, three of us, spent all our adult life and career in New York City, but at the end of the day, you know, Malaysia is still home, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong, because we actually have investors like, we'll give you more money if you go to like Singapore, for example. And but again, sometimes.
Why did you not do that? I mean, more money. You can always export the business back to Malaysia, but why that conscious decision to continue to stay in Malaysia?
So I think two things. One is coming back to Malaysia. Malaysia is home, and second, we do want to develop the local startup ecosystem. And I can share with you that in Malaysia, it's actually very hard to find good engineers. And Pantas is a software company. Half of our company are software engineers, and it's actually tough. But we like I said, we make a conscious decision because we want to develop the local tech scene. So we also want to hire Malaysian, and it took us some time. And some of our investors like, why don't you just outsource your engineering team to Vietnam, India, or Eastern Europe, for example? But it was like, part of the reason why we come back to Malaysia is, you know, to train the locals and to develop the local tech scene. So we persevered, and I think it's glad to announce that we managed to, after a few months, after establishing ourselves and do a lot of interview, we managed to get the tech talent we need, and we're very proud of it. And we're doing some very unconventional method. For example, we actually, one of our engineers graduated as from NTU, Singapore, as an economics major, and she wanted to be a software engineer. And we took a chance on her. She studied, she went on to a coding boot camp to study, and then we took a chance on her, and now she's a full-time engineer. And I think that's some of the ways that we have to do to attract talent. And Malaysians are a talented bunch. Like, you see a lot of Malaysians that are successful all over the world. And I'm pretty sure, we just need to be given a chance, and we can be successful. And that's what we want to do here. That's why we came back.
Fantastic. What a very heartwarming story, and a very realistic element or approach to try to build the ecosystem up in this country. Max, I really wish you all the best. I will definitely hunt you down at the end of the year to talk more about the financing product upon launch. Please don't forget us here the moment you become a unicorn. But that was Max Lee, the CEO and co-founder of Pantas.